The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. On the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene ran and went to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and told them, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb, and we do not know where they put him." So Peter and the other disciple went out and came to the tomb. They both ran, but the other disciple ran faster than Peter and arrived at the tomb first. He bent down and saw the burial cloths there, but did not go in. When Simon Peter arrived after him, he went into the tomb and saw the burial cloths there, and the cloth that had covered his head, not with the burial cloths, but rolled up in a separate place. Then the other disciple also went in, the one who had arrived at the tomb first, and he saw and believed. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, my apologies ahead of time, but I think we're going to have to think this through a little bit, so bear with me. Yeah, I know Martha is shocked. That's the appropriate response. What is he going to do? Is this really going to take up my whole morning? No, it's not going to take up your whole morning, but there's a lot going on. Of course, we have this octave day of Christmas, right? Like I said to the altar boys yesterday, I said, Jesus was born yesterday, but we have to keep the party going. So the party lasts. We know Jesus was born the 25th, but we got to keep the party going. At least 8 days strong, and then beyond that, a little reduced, but anyway, okay, you get it. We're partying. Okay, so in the context of this, okay, great. We've got the 25th. I won't get into the 26th, but the 27th, John the Evangelist. Right, we have John, right here. Why? Always in the octave of Christmas. Why is John here? And maybe you can send me notes after Mass or tell me. I'll be back. I'm going to the back today, so you can tell me after why John is here in Christmas. Now, of course, we have tradition. You say, and tradition's not the answer, by the way, but because traditionally John is celebrated in the octave, but then also were, I think, was it Paul and John? Anyway, Peter and Paul and John were all celebrated in the octave of Christmas. They used to be. I think that might be a clue as to why we celebrate this in the octave. But I don't think it's the entire answer. We have to work it out for ourselves. And then I think we're kind of pushed. I think we're pushed in the wrong direction, should I say, a little bit. At least in the way that we receive and understand the texts of this Mass. I didn't quite catch the entrance antiphon. Do you have it on you, anyone? Something about celestial. That's all I remember. I mean, that's all I remember. Yeah, he's already forgotten the entrance antiphon. Great, who is this guy? What does it say? No, well, the one you read. Oh my gosh. No, that's okay. The blessed apostle to whom celestial secrets were revealed. Okay. Now we know this is an image of also John resting on the breast of his master at the Last Supper, but this idea of celestial secrets revealed. I wonder how you hear that. I hear that as like John the ethereal, I hear it as like John the non-incarnational, John who sees behind the events to see what was really going on, and that's not true. That's not what's happening at all. And I think this is one of the reasons why John remains in this octave where the others are exported into the summer. Is not just because it's nicer to celebrate feast days in the summer, but because John is the theologian of the incarnation. Don't be fooled into thinking that, no, he's the one who sees behind the events. He's the one who sees the heavenly thing. Well, of course, he does see the heavenly things, but he sees the heavenly things in the earthly things. And he is the apostle of love, right? He is I mean, he's the beloved. He's known as the beloved. That was him in the story. He's also the fastest apostle, I like to say. He's the fastest apostle. But he's the apostle. He's the apostle of love. He's the beloved. So he knows, of course, what he's. In this sense, this is probably a self-definition on the part of the apostle. Right? He's the beloved. He knows himself to be the beloved. In fact, this is how he defines himself. He defines himself as the beloved of Jesus. And the gospel is written in such a way that we are invited to take up his spot as well, to be the beloved of Jesus. But that's it. That's the definition of his life in that sense. That he is the beloved. And he is the beloved. He's preaching love. And it's totally incarnational. And it's not, he's this great witness of the resurrection here, the empty tomb. Right? But this is also earthy stuff that we see. It's not like, oh yeah, Jesus shot off into some other place. No, the reality is Jesus is not there, bones and all, flesh and all. And he sees this, he sees and believes. What does he believe? What does he believe when we see that? Well, heretofore he's believed that Jesus is the Messiah, right? Jesus is God's anointed one, and so on and so forth. Believes in the resurrection. Believes that Jesus has overcome death. And in fact, now he believes the world is turning a corner. But don't we see that also in the crib? Don't we see that in the crash? That the world is turning a corner because God has been born among us. Right? This is our Christmas focus. And what do we see, right? Again, the celestial, whatever, John the Ethereal. John the Ethereal also happens. That's not his name, by the way. Okay, so don't start spreading that particular heresy. But I'm just saying, John the Ethereal, beloved. What was from the beginning? Now, of course, we can remember also the beginning of John's gospel, right? Which is the light coming into the world, God, and Jesus being God's word spoken, right? It's a creation narrative that then reaches its conclusion in what we heard just there, the new creation narrative, the eighth day, again, right? Okay, God's remaking the world. But what does he say? He says, what was from the beginning? What we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have looked upon and touched with our hands. We touched with our hands. Okay, so if John is celestial wisdom man, then it's heaven come to earth. And it was what was always meant to be. So there's no here, what I wouldn't say fugit mundi, like we're fleeing the world. I wouldn't say like it's really flight to fancy to think that we can listen to John and be stirred into these celestial reflections. And if they don't take flesh, then what do they mean? In fact, and he'll say himself, if love does not take flesh, it's not real. It's not true. So love has to take flesh, and we know that, of course. And this is why we have John in the Christmas octave, because it's all about love becoming flesh. But it has to continue in us. So we have to allow love to become flesh in us. That means that we have the consolation and the challenge of Christ's presence, of Christ being born among us. Right? The consolation that love has become flesh, and love has become flesh for us. But then the challenge that love needs to become flesh in us for the world. And so we proclaim we celebrate the feast day of the great evangelist of love become flesh today, so that love might become flesh in us. And we look at it. Can we say that we are the beloved of Jesus? Do we own that as our self-identity? When someone asks you, who are you? You think, do people ask you that? That's a strange question. If someone were to ask you, who are you? What do you think? I'm the beloved of Jesus. And what does it mean then, right? To be the beloved of Jesus means to proclaim his love, but to proclaim his love means to embody it for everyone that I encounter, for everyone to whom he sends me, for his world that is as we reflect even on the resurrection today, his world, his fallen world, that is in need of being raised up.